The whole of India is talking about Agnipath and Agniveer. Wherever you take newspapers, you are seeing news is flooded with criticism and even sometimes appreciation for the Government of India, Defense Ministry for creating a project called as Agniveer and Agnipath. So what is this created? This has been created for the youth in this country to join the defense forces and serve this country in different capacities of Army, Air Force and Navy. If you're in the age category of 17.5 to 23, you can enroll in this program as an Agniveer and work for 4 years. Some of the youth and the government believes that this is a great opportunity for the youth in this country to join the forces and work. But whereas some of the army veterans and a large section of youth are in the streets protesting that this is a denial of an opportunity to work for the defense forces for a longer time. The 4 years working class has gained a lot of criticism. This is all about Agniveer. So what else can we know about Agniveer? What is the salary? How does this Agniveer really work? Why are people protesting on the streets? What are the benefits of this? We'll find out all the answers in ExplainWallah for IAS. Let me tell you what are the important features of this Agnipath or being an Agniveer. As I said, the youth of this country can enroll in this. They can either enroll through education institutions or the army will conduct the recruitment rallies through which the youth of this country will be selected for this. And they will obviously sign a contract to work in the defense forces. And once you get this, as I said, the highlight of this Agniveer project is all about this 4 years. It's all about working for 4 years, and out of this 6 months will be definitely for the training purpose, and you can work for the rest of the 3.5 years. So you will get a service for 3.5 years. And what are the other important aspects? Once a youth is completing the 4 years of service in the Agnipath scheme as an Agniveer, once you come out after 4 years, it is said that 25% of the Agniveers will be retained. And the 75% of the Agniveers will end up as civilian and they can start a new life as a civilian. So let's talk about the 25% first. 25% of the people will be retained means you can either be retained in CAPF, Assam Rifles or elite other different forces in the states. Different forces you can work in that and you can still continue with them. But what about the rest of the 75%? You end up as a civilian. And while you end up as a civilian, what really happens is the government has listed out a lot of things, what facilities a civilian Agniveer can really get. So once you are out of the defense system as a civilian, if you want to start a business, if you want to be an entrepreneur, definitely there are considerations from the government. You will get special concerned loans for this. And if you want to continue your studies, you just want to study more, you will be awarded equivalent bridge courses or certifications which is equivalent to 12th standard. You can still continue your service. And the biggest attraction of this Agniveer scheme is that all the people, the recruits who are trained for 4 years will be trained for skills, mechanics, and they will be given with varied section of the skill set. You will be proficient in mechanics and different skills. And the government say that after this, many of the private sectors and many of the sectors in the economy are looking forward for people with skill set. That means who are disciplined, skill set Agniveers will be considered for the jobs. So that doesn't mean that people who are left out will not have job. So an Agniveer has a lot of opportunities according to the government. So these are some of the opportunities that an Agniveer will get after you become a civilian. So the 25% of the people who are retained will still continue with the defense forces. And the next key question, so these are some of the important features that we said, and the defense ministry has an approximation that within 4 years, they're expecting boys and girls of this country to join this Agniveer system. And by 4 years, they're expecting a count of around 60,000 people will join into the force. So that's a big intake. And the next key question comes, are they entitled for salary? That is a key question. As an Agniveer, will you get salary? Apart from training and working, will you get salary? That is a key question that they might ask. Yes, all of you are entitled for salary, and it is divided like this. The first year, you might even get a salary up to 30,000, where you'll get a salary of 21,000 and the 9,000 will be deducted, and that goes to a corpus fund. So there is a corpus fund called as Seva Nidhi package. That means in the first year, when you get 30,000, 9,000 goes into the Seva Nidhi package. And after that, the second year, you might get 33,000, and later on it can increase to 36,000. And by the fourth year, it's almost equivalent to 40,000. That means for 4 years, you work, and there is a money which is going into the corpus fund, which is called as a Seva Nidhi package. And by the time you complete 4 years and come out, you will get a lump sum amount of almost equivalent to 12 lakhs. 11 point something, and almost equivalent to, you'll get an amount of 12 lakhs as lump sum amount, which is exempted from income tax. And there are no gratuity awarded also. When I talk about benefits, so this is the pay scale of how the Agniveer system is all about. But the key question is, why did the government create this? One of the biggest factors is the rising budget of the defense. A large chunk of the defense budget goes for the pension and other allowances. So you can call it as a ballooning pension bill. It's obviously a balloon like big pension bill. And when you create this Agniveer, you can cut down a lot of that pension money. And obviously that money can be used for the development of modernization of defense. So this is one such reason which the army, which the defense forces has put out. And one of the other reason can be to bring down the average of age of the people who are working. So presently from 32, they would like to bring it down to 26. So the cutting down the average age is also a part, and cutting down the budget and the pension and allowances is also a part of this. So is this Agniveer a good thing created by the government? Because the government and a large number of youth in this country believe that this is a good thing, that you get an opportunity to work with the defense. But many of the army veterans and the other section of the youth see this as an opportunity denial. Your opportunity is denied. So many of the youth is not unhappy with this, because they have come up with a lot of negatives or serious things that the government should really think about. What are the negative things that the people tell, and what are their concerns? Let's find out what are their concerns. And one of the most prominent thing that came into was the angle of terrorism. It's true that you cannot miss out the angle of terrorism, because people believe that once you get 4 years of training from the most coveted defense forces in the world, you get that from the training, and after 4 years, you're super trained professional, Agniveer. So people say that such a move will attract a lot of them into terrorist activities, because the terrorist organizations will find this as an easy recruitment process for their terrorist activities. You get the best people who know the job. So this is one such angle, and whether this angle is whether this angle hold or not is how you think about this. But some people definitely say that this is definitely an important aspect, really a big time negative. And some other people believe that previously in the category of 16.5 to 21, you get an opportunity to work for this. They used to work for this defense country for almost 15 years, and they get a minimum comfort. That means they get a pension system. So that was kind of a security, a kind of a long-term security for the efforts that you've taken for this country. For that will actually miss out. And the next important thing that they point out, the youth point out, is that after 4 years, majority of them, as the government cell, will not be absorbed in the different job sector. Many of them will become homeless. And every year, the number of 75% of the people who are not absorbed, in the coming years, they say that will pile up like anything, and we'll be surrounded with Agniveers everywhere. And that will be a big time loss, and many of them will not get proper job, is one such angle. Whether you agree or not, you should tell me. And the other important suggestion that came up from a lot of people is that many of them will force to work with the private sector, especially the private security firms. You'll have to end up in a private security firm where you do not get any proper benefits and comfort. So this is one angle, and a lot of defense people, related people, believe that there was what they asked this question: what is the problem with the present system? The present hiring system was absolutely going well. This is the view of the defense people who are just veterans and retired, and they believe that the present system of hiring was good for so long, everything was going good. And they believe that just because you want to cut down the pensions and just because you want to cut down the money and the benefits and modernizing the army doesn't mean that the army needs to be compromised. The army needs to, or the defense system needs to be compromised. And they believe that, see, every 4 years new people come and go. So some of them even doubt the professionalism of the people who are working in it. And they believe that the defense system should not be compromised at all. So these are some of the viewpoints. And some of them believe that this will, neutralize the ethos of different regiments working in the army. So a lot of criticisms and a lot of negative comments coming from different sections. But on a neutral position, just you have to think in your perspective. The government has created an opportunity for the youth, and whether this will create a good precedent and make the army more efficient or not, only time will tell us. So all you can do is you can think about the positives and the negatives, and maybe you can comment your opinion in the chat box and let the aspirants know what is your take on that.